who do you serve? Not what do you want to sell them and where can you find them? The most important question you'll ask yourself in your business is who. Hey, Alicia Conlin-Hurd here, and we're about to dive into step number 2 in the private workshop that we created on how to become an authority, attract your dream clients, and finally charge what you're worth. And this one's important. We're going to be drilling into your target market and actually figuring out who are your dream customers, not just the ones that have money to pay you, but who would you like to attract and who do you enjoy working with? Once you know this, you can create marketing that attracts and pulls and magnetizes those people into you and put your marketing on easy mode. Okay, enjoy part 2 of the workshop. We'll move into secret 2, to someone. This is the next part of our authority marketing formula, to someone. And it's a clear market to serve. This is the ingredient we're focusing on. So what we're going to do here is we're going to decide who your dream customer is. And trust me, because I've worked with 500, 600 plus clients and helped people, nobody ever has this as clearly defined as they should, right? It's the other side of the equation. And it's really important because your marketing is not about you at all. And your business is not about you. Really, it's who do you serve? And it always starts with the who, not what do I want to sell? Who do I serve and what problem can I solve for them? And it's good to be polarizing. We want to repel the wrong people and attract the right ones. But it's really hard to attract your dream customers if you're not crystal clear on who they are and what you want to be to them. So Clippy is back with a tip. And that tip is the person who can explain the market's problems the best will win the work. So let's go to an example. There's 2 web project agencies pitching for a large healthcare brand. Everything else is the same. The price is the same. The experience is the same. Everything, right? The only thing is different is this. Web project agency 1 says, yeah, we can build websites. We're really good at websites. We even do some of the SEO. We can help. The second website agency says, we specialize in healthcare websites. We understand that you probably feel XYZ about your website. You feel like it's ugly and you hate it and it's not converting people, right? And we also understand in the healthcare space that problem ABC exists. So our vehicle to help you get there is the website, but this is the problem that we're going to solve for you. And see how that person can describe the problems rather than just talk about the vehicle that they're going to help with, right? Because we're never really selling a product or a service. We're always selling a dream outcome. And if we don't know what that is in our target market's words, our messaging never quite lands. So if you feel like your market doesn't get it, doesn't get what you do, or like your messaging is just not landing, it's usually because you haven't got this input right. You don't know in very clear defined terms in the target market's words, what is that dream outcome you help them to achieve? So in simpler terms, the business and the marketing starts with the who. So right now, this is the work in the workshop. Think of your dream customer. Imagine them in your head. It might be a client you've had recently, or you might just think, God, why can't I attract more people like this client? So let's think about them. Imagine who they are. Give them a name. It might be Amy, Peter, Roger, whatever. I don't want you to think about the tire kickers or the energy vampires, right? You want to avoid those. And it's probably who you're dealing with now, because this is about attracting your dream clients. So think of who you want to attract more of. Go with your best client. Now, if you're stuck, here's something I prepared earlier, because this is the 7 criteria on how to figure out who your best customer is. Because sometimes it's hard to be objective about it, right? Sometimes we romanticize our market and we want to help a bunch of people, but they don't have the money to pay. Or we want to work with a certain market, but they're really hard to find. So this is the criteria you can use when you're figuring out who your best customer is, okay? So you enjoy working with them. Number 1, if you've started a business and you're stuck working with clients that you hate working with, basically, we were the same. We were just taking on any clients, and when we started, we didn't have any pipeline, right? And then we realized we were working all these hours for clients we dreaded having to talk to. And so the number one thing for us is that we actually enjoy working with them. And when you build an authority and your lead generation and sales systems, you can be picky with clients. We have a wait list. We reject more people than we take on. We're not a volume agency though, right? So it might be different, but we don't have to work with nightmare clients, and it is such a good place to be. So you also need to get them awesome results. Your system needs to work for them. You solve a big pain for them, and they're aware of the pain. You don't want to have to educate them that they have a problem. That's annoying. You know there are more of them out there. The total addressable market is big enough, right? You know you can find more of them, but they're easy to find. And this is optional, but I like it when they're underserved. That's why Matt and I like to specialize in lead generation as an agency, because they're underserved, in our opinion, for funnels. And they have money to pay. If your market doesn't have money, that's going to be very hard. So remembering that you're not for everyone, right? That's a scarcity mindset. If you try to be for everyone, you'll be for no one. So think about this. Who would you prefer to work with? LinkedIn growth expert versus the LinkedIn coach who helps startup SaaS entrepreneurs hit their first 10K followers. It's a bit more obvious on the problem and the who, right? Would you prefer to work with a digital marketing agency or the e-commerce growth agency who helps female-led brands scale to their first 7 figures? Or would you prefer to work with, these are real people we've coached and worked with. That's why I have a sobriety coach. Sobriety coach to help Americans get sober, or sobriety coach that helps single mums in the USA get sober who have tried everything to quit before. We want to serve one market and serve them the best. Then you can add more, if it even makes sense. Usually your niche is bigger than what you think it is, and you get scared to niche down because of scarcity mindset. So here's an example of how we do this, right? For the finance space, we enjoy working with them. They're committed to results. His name's Mark. We get them results because we can unlock $1 million in new contracts within 3 weeks. He has a huge pain. He knows he's the best, but he can't stand out. And he doesn't have a system to acquire predictable leads profitably. There's a big total addressable market. We know how to find them, and we know their client lifetime value is 10K to 100K. So it makes sense to invest with us. So now, team, in your worksheet, who are you going to be an authority to? All right, who is your someone? So take a minute to write down your initial ideas. Who is this? And Maddie, jump in here if you've got something to add in as well. Who is your someone? Who is your fave client? Describe them in detail. And it's up to you whether you do this work right now, right? I know this works and it'll make you money. If you want to sit here and wait, that's cool. But this is like, we're prioritizing business growth. Let's figure this out. Matt, what would you add in? What would you?
I'd just like to drill down on like, what is the big problem you solve, and really think about that in terms of like, is it money you save? Is it efficiency you get? Is it time saved? I'm really dialing in on that big problem, because the bigger the problem you solve, the greater you can get paid, right? This is all about attracting dream clients and charging what you're worth. And just think about that big problem that you're solving for that client and seeing if you can tweak the pain on it, right? Like, what happens if they don't solve this? So that's what I'd like to sort of, just drill down on, is really drill down on that big problem you're solving.
Yeah, that's a great point, because you're always selling, it boils down to one of 3 desires: health, wealth, relationships, and then you can be a sub niche within there. But you're always selling one of those big 3: health, wealth, relationships. Okay. So what have they tried before? What does their day-to-day look like? What's their crappy before state, their after state? Okay, team, and that is a wrap on part 2 of the private workshop we shared with our community. Now, if you have any questions or any of your own tips on how to figure out who is your dream client and to attract them into your ecosystem, make sure you leave them in the comments. Otherwise, make sure you subscribe to the video, because we'll be dropping the next part, the final part 3, in the next couple of days. Chat soon.